It's equally important to start any letter, whatever private or professional, with a polite question. A letter would start like, "Dear Mr. Smith, I hope you had a nice weekend," or "I trust you're well." Then you can get to the point. If you don't do that, you will be considered as being rude. Please, sorry, and thank you are the main words in English vocabulary. They get so ingrained into your brain that you apologize even if someone bumps into you when it's not even your fault. You apologize for everything, everywhere, and thank people 100 times a day for things you don't need to be grateful for. You bump into a door, you apologize to the door. The British people use these words all the time in normal situations. Thank you is used if someone has done something unimportant, something you could reasonably expect them to do for you, like holding a door open for you, doing some small service. In formal situations, we use thank you, thanks very much, and thanks. In English, you will hear two other even shorter words which are used in the same way, such as ta and Q. Ta is often used by the shopkeepers, for example, talaf, and Q is an abbreviation of thank you. And it's mostly used by the people who have to say thank you time and time again every day in their job. They simply swallow the beginning and pronounce the end of the last word. You shouldn't use those words in a professional environment.
Another way of saying thank you is to use the word cheers. You often hear that from workmen leaving your house, as cheers also means goodbye. So to shorten the words, a person might say cheers when leaving, which could mean goodbye, or thank you, or both together.
Just for completeness, cheers is also used when people drinking or raising bottles or glasses with other people.
Sorry is also used to ask the person to repeat what they said. It could be because you didn't understand them the first time or didn't believe what they said. The pronunciation here is important. It would be like, sorry, sorry. A more polite version would be to ask, pardon, from French pardon, or I beg your pardon. Many people say it like, pardon, pardon. When I came to England, it took me a while to understand that they meant pardon. You would not normally use what instead of sorry, as it sounds a bit common and is only used between people who know each other very well, members of the family or close friends.
Please is used at the end of a polite request. For example, could you tell me the time, please? Or can you give me some salt, please? Or can be used in the beginning of the sentence to make a suggestion or an invitation warmer.
Please come in. Please remember that adding please doesn't make something extra polite, as it's absolutely normal and expected by English people. Could you open the window, please?
As an English person once told me, if you don't use please and thank you all the time, you will sound like a farmer. Sorry, farmers. I would also like to add that such answers as yes or no are hardly ever used on their own. You will nearly always sound a bit aggressive if you don't add something else. For example, have you bought milk? Yes, I have. Don't just say yes, say yes, I have.
Weather. Where do we start? British people spend loads of time talking about the weather. The reason is that the weather in Britain changes continuously. And when they meet, they nearly always make some comments about the weather to be social. Often people speak about the weather in queues or in shops, and not only about today's weather, but the weather of yesterday or last week. When you come into a building, you kind of always make a comment of what's the weather like outside. It's horrible outside, or it's so nice.
There is a cultural difference. When the sun is out, Brits straight away get their summer gear out and start wearing sandals, short-sleeve t-shirts, shorts, miniskirts, even if it's only 13 degrees centigrade. You will see men walking around in the streets topless. People are heading to the pub gardens or the beach, where they get instantly burned and severely suffer on the following day. You will see small children splashing in the sea, although the sea's temperature is only 5 degrees. All that is normal in England. People can't wait for the rainy winter to be over and will enjoy every bit of sun available.
If you are a student and are traveling to the UK in March, be warned that the heating in your host family's house might be turned off, as the British are preparing for the summer, although it might be only 10 degrees outside. Regardless of the weather, the heating will be turned off sometime during March or April, depending on the family, and won't be turned on again until October. So take a warm blanket with you or buy it once you arrive.
I'm under the impression that British people are never cold. Girls go to school wearing skirts and socks until January. Our kids do. Teenagers without jackets or coats in February. Newborn babies are taken out instantly with minimum clothes on. Work colleagues switching aircon on full power at the first ray of sunshine. Women are insanely underdressed for the weather on the nights out in England. If you go out at night during winter months, you will see women in small bikini tops, small dresses, bare legs, strappy heels and summer shoes, queuing outside the nightclub for ages. No tights, no jackets. Something I still can't get used to after so many years living in the country. I just used the word ages. That's a very common expression when referring to a long time. For example, I had to wait for ages means I had to wait for a long time.
Small talk is a very important talent you should get used to when in England. The British are masters of small talk. Usually, when you meet other people, you will get into some small talk. It simply means to talk about unimportant matters, like the weather, or often between men about the last football games. That's completely unlike Germans, who like to get to the point quickly. But when you are in England, you should learn to do some small talk. You should never get straight to the point.
Just one other thing that might be different to your culture, such as written letters or emails. Letters or emails always start with a polite question. As with the example of a small talk, it's equally important to start any letter, whatever private or professional, with a polite question. A letter would start like, "Dear Mr. Smith, I hope you had a nice weekend," or "I trust you're well." Then you can get to the point. If you don't do that, you will be considered as being rude. However, you don't have to do that in an email conversation when you keep writing back and forth. only do it in the first email of that conversation or on the next day.
Well, that was it with our first video of cultural differences of English people. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell so you get notified when we have a new video. Well, bye for now.
Bye!